The snow was already burying them when the human arrived. White silence pressed down on the valley like a coffin lid, and beneath it lay two shapes so large they should not have been hidden, yet so still they almost were. Blood had frozen black against their scales. Steam no longer rose from their wounds. The world had decided their story was over. The twin dragon brothers had been forgotten. Erender collapsed to his knees when he saw them. His breath came out in broken gasps, not from fear, but from recognition. He knew what it meant to be left where no one would look again. The cold bit into his bones, but he did not turn away. He couldn't. Erender had never been strong. He had never been brave in the ways stories liked. He was born thin and sickly in a border village that valued muscle and steel. His hands shook when he tried to lift a blade. His lungs burned when he ran. By 16, the villagers stopped pretending he would ever be useful. When the Northern War ended and winter came early, the king demanded sacrifices to preserve order. Weak mouths to feed were the first to go. Erender was given a coat with torn seams, a day's bread, and a shove toward the mountains. Fate will decide, they told him. Fate was cold. He wandered for days, guided by nothing but instinct and a strange pull in his chest. When the storm worsened, he thought it was finally ending. Then he heard the sound, a low, fractured groan that shook the ice beneath his feet. That sound led him here. The dragons were enormous, even broken. One was silver-white, his wings pierced and pinned by jagged iron stakes etched with glowing runes. The other was deep blue, scales cracked, one horn shattered at the base. Chains of ancient magic bound them both, feeding on their life, pulsing faintly in time with their failing hearts. The silver dragon opened one eye. It was dull. Resigned. Go, a voice echoed inside Erender's mind, heavy with exhaustion. We have no fire left to save you. Erender swallowed hard. I didn't come to be saved. The blue dragon stirred weakly. Then you came to die. Erender stood, legs trembling, and stepped closer. The cold screamed at his skin, but he ignored it. Everyone leaves, he said quietly. I know how that feels. The dragons fell silent. They hunted you, Erender continued, eyes burning. Didn't they? Promised protection. Promised peace. The silver dragon's jaw tightened. We guarded their skies for centuries. When the war ended, they feared what they no longer needed. Erender laughed softly, a sound close to tears. That's what they said about me, too. Snow thickened, wind rising. The chains glowed brighter, draining faster. You cannot help us, the blue dragon said. You are only human. Erender knelt between them. Then I'll stay human with you. He tore his cloak apart to bind wounds that should have crushed him with their heat. He pressed his small body against freezing scales, sharing what little warmth he had. He spoke aloud, voice cracking, telling them about the village, about being unwanted, about nights spent wondering if being born was a mistake. The storm screamed above them. Time passed strangely. Pain dulled. The dragon's breath slowed. Erender felt himself fading. That was when the soldiers arrived. Torches cut through the white. Steel boots crushed snow. The king's banner fluttered like a threat. There they are, a voice shouted, and the rat that led us to them. Erender forced himself to stand. His vision swam. Blood soaked his sleeve where frostbite had split skin. Human, the silver dragon said urgently. Run. Erender shook his head. Arrows flew. Pain exploded through his back as he fell forward, landing in the snow between the dragons. The world tilted. Sounds became distant. The captain laughed. Even the weak tried to be heroes at the end. As darkness crept in, Erender felt something awaken inside him. Not strength. Not rage. Choice. He had been told his whole life that he was unnecessary. That survival was reserved for those who mattered. I choose you, he whispered, blood freezing on his lips. The chains shattered. Blue fire roared back into existence, melting snow in an instant. The ground split as power surged upward, ancient and furious. The blue dragon rose first, wings unfurling in a storm of flame and ice. The silver followed, wounds sealing as light poured through him. The soldiers screamed. When silence returned, only ash and scorched banners remained. Arender did not see it. He woke surrounded by warmth, wrapped in wings larger than any shelter he had known. Firelight danced gently, controlled, protective. You lived? The silver dragon said softly. Arender tried to speak. His throat burned. I wasn't supposed to. The blue dragon lowered his massive head. Neither were we. They carried him from the valley as the storm finally broke. Below, the kingdom slept unaware of what had changed. The dragons did not return to the skies in rage. They chose something else, not they became guardians again. Not of kings or borders, but of those cast aside. And the boy who had been thrown away became the reason legends were reborn. Because the snow could not finish what humanity refused to abandon God and forgotten things. Once chosen are never weak again.